Well, good morning, kids. I am so excited to get to see you today and to continue our lesson about bugs, small creatures, big lessons. That's right, big lessons. You may remember that we've talked about the praying mantis, which reminds us to pray, ants, who teach us how to work as a team, lightning bugs that teach us to go and spread the light of Jesus to the world. And today we are going to be talking about caterpillars and butterflies. Now you might be thinking, well, you're talking about two insects, two different ones, and normally we only do one every single week. Well, really, caterpillars and butterflies are the same insect. It's just they're at different stages of life. Now, we are going to be talking about a big word called transformation. And the easy way to say transformation is to say change. Just like a caterpillar changes into a butterfly, we're going to be talking about how God's love and God's presence in our life can change us. And that's transformation. Now, before we talk about our Bible story for today, I thought I'd share some fun facts that Miss Carolyn shared with us during our Zoom call. There were three things that I wrote down that I thought were pretty incredible. And the first one is, do you know how many times in a caterpillar's life that they shed their skin? How many times? If you said 4, you are right. And they shed their skin because they grow. They kind of outgrow their skin like you outgrow your clothes. They eat and eat and eat and get bigger, shed their skin, and they do that 4 times before they become a butterfly. Next, did you know that there are 20,000 different kinds of butterflies? That amazed me. And then finally, there's one kind of butterfly who has a wingspan just like a bird's. So next time you're outside and you see a bird flying around, imagine that bird as a butterfly. There is a butterfly out there that big. I was amazed at those fun facts. Well, caterpillars are pretty cool in that they can do something really neat. They can transform into a butterfly. And today, Peter is going to help me tell you a story about a man who transformed. He was a very bad man, transformed into a very good man. Actually, a man who helped others know about Jesus. And so, Peter, are you ready to come out and see us? Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, here's Peter. Peter, who do you have with you today? Oh, you have the very hungry caterpillar. I love that. Did you know that we were talking about butterflies? Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So Peter and the very hungry caterpillar are going to help us tell our story. And this is how they help us do that. Every time you hear our main character's name, and the name is Saul, you're either going to sit down or you're going to stand up. And if you'd rather just raise your hand, that's okay too. Right, Peter? All right. Well, let's tell our story. I'm guessing, Peter, everybody's sitting down. There we go. Okay. Well, today's story is from Acts chapter 9, and it's about a young man named Saul. There we go. Saul was a very mean man. Saul was an enemy to the Christians, and he traveled from city to city, arresting Christians, putting them in prison, and he even had some Christians killed. Isn't that sad? Yeah, Saul needed transformation. He needed to change. He was a pretty bad guy. One day, Saul was traveling down a road towards a city called Damascus when suddenly a bright light shone in front of him, and it startled him so much that he fell to the ground. And then from that bright light came a voice, and it said, "Saul, I am Jesus. I'm the one you're persecuting. Get up, go to Jerusalem, and I will tell you what to do." So Saul got up, and he realized when he got up that he was blind. He couldn't see a thing. He had some men to help him to go to Jerusalem, where he met a man named Ananias. And God had told Ananias to go and find Saul and lay hands on him so he could be healed. God told Ananias that Saul was going to become one of the biggest preachers of all the world. Ananias went to Saul. He had laid his hands on him and healed him, and Saul could see. Eventually, Saul changed his name to, do you know it? It rhymes with Saul, but it starts with a P. Paul. Yep, he changed his name to Paul, and he stopped persecuting the Christians, and instead he began to preach about Jesus all over the world. How could someone like Saul, or Paul, if you'd rather call him, have such a radical change? How could Saul, or Paul, go from killing Christians to eventually becoming a preacher who helped others become Christians? There's only one way something like that could ever happen, and that's because of God's transforming love. God loved Saul so much that he was willing to forgive him of everything he'd ever done wrong, and it changed Saul's life. Was that a good story? Oh yes, Peter likes that story a lot. It's good to know that through the power of God's love, we can be transformed, isn't it? Yeah, it's so good. Peter, thank you for helping with our story. Hungry Little Caterpillar, thank you too. Peter's saying goodbye. We'll see him next week as we learn about spiders. Oh, ooh, do you like spiders? We'll see what spiders. What could spiders teach us? I don't know. Well, today our scripture lesson is from 2 Corinthians, and you'll see here that I have an outline of a person. And if you could somehow find a way to find an outline of a person, you could transform, or you could change this person to look like you. You could add a face, you could add some clothes. All right, here's our story, or our lesson. Anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, and a new life has begun. That's from 2 Corinthians 5:17. Now, I want to remind you, please let me know if you have watched this video. You can send me an email at kim@ehumc.org. If you watch this on YouTube, unfortunately, I don't know who's watching. And so I need you to send me an email. And every week, we are sending you something in the mail that is a little activity to do. And so Miss Carolyn is actually helping me with that. She's sending those out, and we would love to send you some fun activity sheets about butterflies and caterpillars this week if you watch this video. Like I said, next week we'll be doing a lesson on spiders. I hope that all of the moms out there have a very happy Mother's Day. If you got your flower from me in the mail, please make sure that you've made it into a corsage for your mom so that you can give that to her on Mother's Day. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon.